By the time I was 10, I'd already seen my father knock my mother out cold, and I was the one dragging her body out of the kitchen before he killed her. If you think that's the worst part of this story, you're wrong. Hit subscribe, because what follows is how a broken kid became one of the most successful bank robbers in Southern California, until the FBI caught up with me. We lived in a rundown house just outside Anaheim, the kind of place where police sirens were your lullaby and cracked sidewalks were your playground. My dad was a savage. Not just a drinker, a violent drunk with fists that spoke louder than words. My mom always had a bruise. Sometimes I couldn't tell where the makeup ended and the pain began. I'd hide under the bed when things got loud. But one night, it got real quiet. I came out and found my mom face down in a pool of her own blood, and my father walking out like nothing happened. That's when something clicked in me. Fear died, and anger took its place. By 12, I was stealing bikes and shoplifting candy and gum. By 13, I was robbing kids at knife point behind the middle school. I didn't even care about the money. I just wanted to feel something that wasn't helplessness. At 15, I broke into a neighbor's house. I didn't wear gloves. I didn't even care about cameras. I was caught. Juvenile hall. First time behind bars. And honestly, I felt safe for the first time in my life. At 16, I was in California Youth Authority, basically kid prison. I got into a fight on day 1. 2 cracked ribs, 3 stitches above my eye, and a taste of what survival really meant. But I didn't back down. That earned me respect. I kept going. Violence became language. Theft became trade. By the time I turned 18, I wasn't thinking about school or jobs. I was thinking about how to get away with robbing banks. It started with petty theft, candy, drinks, cigarettes. Nothing serious. Just stuff I could slip into my jacket when the cashier wasn't looking. But it escalated. By 12, I was breaking into cars with a coat hanger and selling the radios to older guys on my block. They called me Ghost, said I moved too fast and too quietly. At 14, I boosted my first ride. A 1987 Cutlass Supreme. Hot-wired it outside a liquor store. No real plan, just wanted to see if I could do it. I drove it all the way to Long Beach, blasting NWA with the windows down. They caught me the next day. I was charged with grand theft auto and thrown into juvenile detention. Inside, there was no rehabilitation. Just rules, fights, and lockdowns. I learned how to talk like a convict, walk like a shot caller, and think like a predator. By 16, I was in and out of youth authority, getting sharper, colder, and more violent. I wasn't afraid of cops. I wasn't afraid of time. I was only afraid of being average. The halls were war zones. If you weren't in a crew, you were a target. I rolled with the white boys, mostly skinheads, Aryan wannabes, and Peckerwood types. I didn't believe in their politics, but they had structure. They had protection. I got jumped in after smashing a chair over a kid's back who tried to shank one of ours in the shower. It earned me stripes and enemies. Every week, I was in segregation for fighting or lockdown for holding contraband. I didn't care. I got stronger, smarter, meaner. One time, a CO told me, "You're either going to end up dead or in federal lockup." I smiled and said, "I'll take the feds." They got better food. By the time I turned 18, I was fully institutionalized. I didn't flinch at violence. Didn't hesitate to hurt someone if it meant getting respect. And I sure as hell didn't see any future that didn't involve crime. I was 20 years old when I robbed my first bank. No plan. No backup. Just a hoodie, sunglasses, and a loaded .38. I walked into a Wells Fargo branch on a Monday morning, calm as ice. Walked up to the teller, looked her in the eyes, and said, "Don't hit the button. Don't scream. Put the money in the bag, and I'll be gone in 30 seconds. She froze, then moved like lightning. The whole thing was over in 27 seconds. I walked out with just under $6,800, all 20s and 100s. No die packs. No GPS. Just a clean run. I tossed the gun in the river, dumped the clothes in a hotel trash bin, and drove back to my neighborhood like I'd just picked up groceries. That night, I felt something I'd never felt before. Power. Not money. Not fear. Not rage. Control. And that was the beginning of the addiction. After that first hit, I didn't stop. I didn't want to get greedy, I wanted to get good. So I studied every move. I stopped using weapons. No notes. No fingerprints. Just a controlled voice, confident posture, and 30-second windows. The trick was routine. Same time of day, Monday to Wednesday, just after 10 a.m. Same clothes, grey hoodie, ball cap, sunglasses. Same approach, walk up, soft voice. No one needs to get hurt. I'm not here for you. Just the money. And it worked. Over and over. Tellers didn't panic. Managers didn't move. I was out the door before they could even press the button. Some branches I hit were so routine, it felt like picking up dry cleaning. And I never took all the money. Just what I could grab quickly. $4,000 to $8,000. Enough to live, party, and plan the next one. At first, I brought a guy in, Chris, an old cellmate with nerves of steel. He drove. I did the walk-in. We split it 50-50ths. But after the fourth job, Chris got sloppy, got high, started spending stupid. One night, he told a stripper about a quick come-up at the bank. That was it. I cut him off. Went solo. I learned how to pick locations with no security guard, easy parking, and 2 exits. I'd park one car nearby, walk a few blocks to the bank, rob it, then ditch my disguise in a locked gym bag, and drive off in a second car waiting around the corner. Everything I wore was bought with cash from Goodwill. Everything I touched got burned or trashed. Phones? Never. I used paper maps, old school planning. No electronics. No trails. I was fast, efficient, and silent. After a hit, I had 3 golden rules. Never take the same route twice. Always switch vehicles. Disappear into freeway traffic. I'd rent junkers from shady dealers under fake names. Cash down, no questions asked. Each car had new plates, tinted windows, and nothing inside that tied to me. After a job, I'd drive 5 to 7 miles out, hit the 405 or 91 freeway, merge into the chaos, and vanish. Then I'd park the car in a supermarket lot, lock it, and walk away like I forgot something inside. A buddy would pick it up later and return it. Tellers described me as calm or cold. Cops called me a ghost. The FBI called me a pattern with no fingerprint. And I liked it that way. Every hit made me sharper. Every dollar made me hungrier. Every success made me cockier. I thought I'd never be caught. I thought I was untouchable. And that was the beginning of the fall. You know what's wild? I used to take my kids to Disneyland the same week I'd knock over a bank. We'd ride Space Mountain, eat churros, smile for photos. Meanwhile, I had $10,000 in unmarked bills hidden under the floorboards back home. I played the dad role perfectly. Soccer practices, school pickups, parent-teacher meetings. No one suspected a thing. Not my kids. Not my neighbors. Not even my girl. I wore cheap jeans and basic sneakers. Didn't flash. Just enough to seem normal. But every hug, every smile, every school project, it all had blood on it. Because every ounce of peace they felt, I paid for with fear. But when I wasn't playing dad, I was burning through cash like it was cursed. Clubs. Girls. Bottles. There were nights I spent $3,000 in an hour, just to feel alive. I had a rotation of strip clubs in Riverside and Fullerton where the managers knew me by name, and the girls called me Ghost Daddy. I tipped like a rapper and dressed like a mechanic. I didn't care about watches or suits. I cared about feeling bigger than life. One time, I bought a Ducati just to wreck it doing wheelies in a mall parking lot at 3 a.m. I was high, drunk, broke, and rich, all at once. Every dollar was either gasoline or poison. And deep down, I didn't care if I made it to 30. It got harder to lie. My girl started asking why I always had cash, why I never let her near my car, and why I disappeared for hours with no explanation. I told her I was in collections. Debt stuff. Door knocking. Repo work. It was enough to keep her off my back, for a while. But the cracks showed. My temper got shorter. My lies got sloppy. My nights got longer. She found a gym bag with gloves, a cap, and sunglasses, my uniform. I told her it was from Halloween. She didn't buy it. We fought. Screamed. The kids cried. And still, the next day, I kissed them goodbye and walked into a bank like nothing happened. I was a father. A thief. A liar. A ghost. Living two lives, knowing one of them would eventually kill the other. I always said I'd quit while I was ahead. I lied. By robbery number 13, I was getting sloppy. Same hat too many times. The same car was seen near two banks. Same gym bag. Same routine. But the adrenaline drowned out the logic. I was addicted to the rush. The silence before the teller moved. The way time froze when I said, "Don't hit the button." I didn't see the bank manager who ducked behind a column. Didn't notice the new cameras mounted higher. Didn't think about facial recognition software. I thought I was smarter than the system. But the system? It was watching now. 3 banks. Same hoodie. Same voice. Same exit pattern. An FBI task force was formed. They dubbed me the Quiet Bandit because I never raised my voice. Never pointed a gun. Just walked in, gave the look, and left. But they had my walk. My timing. My method. They interviewed every teller I'd ever met. One of them remembered my tattoo slipping from under my sleeve, a poorly drawn eagle. Another remembered I smelled like motor oil. That was enough. The FBI flagged every service shop in the area, cross-referenced it with recent cash car purchases, and watched parking lots near the hits. They tightened the net, inch by inch. And I had no idea. It was supposed to be easy. Friday morning. Chase Bank on Lincoln. Same plan. I walked in. Calm. Collected. Same line. This will be over in 30 seconds. Don't do anything stupid. I got the money. $7,300. Turned. Walked out. But this time, something felt wrong. The street was too quiet. Too empty. Then I saw it. 1 unmarked car. Then 2. Then 3. My gut dropped. I broke into a run. I ditched the bag behind a dumpster. Cut through the alley. And then, FBI, don't move. I froze. Guns drawn. Hands up. Shoved to the pavement. As they cuffed me, one agent leaned down and said, "Nice run. You almost had us fooled." Almost. They gave me 12 years. Bank robbery, evading law enforcement, and a laundry list of charges stacked like bricks. Federal court. No drama. No tears. Just me in chains, staring at the floor, while the judge read off my life like a receipt. In prison, nobody cares about your past, only your politics and your race. First day in, I'm processed at Victorville. Stripped. Searched. Thrown into a cold cell with a steel toilet and a thin mattress that smelled like mildew and bleach. The sounds. Echoes of boots. Screams. Doors slamming. And that unshakable feeling that I'd entered a world that feeds on weakness. I wasn't scared. I was back where I'd started. Only now did I have a name on my paperwork. And a target on my back. In the feds, everything's segregated. Blacks with blacks. Mexicans with Mexicans. Whites with whites. You don't get to choose. Politics chooses for you. And on the white yard? There's only one rule, ride with the Peckerwoods, or your food. I didn't ask questions. I already knew how the game worked. First week in, I'm handed a shank made from a toothbrush and a razor blade. They didn't say hello. They said, "You're up next week. Earn your place." It was a test. Some punk from the south side ran his mouth. I caught him near the showers. Quick slice across the cheek. Not deep. Just enough to make him remember me. I didn't enjoy it. But in there, respect isn't optional. It's currency. After that, I had protection. I had my circle. And I had my number, Wood 135, my ink, my rank, my seat at the table. Joining the Peckerwoods isn't a form you fill. It's a lifestyle. You either survive or you don't. They tattooed me. First, the swastika. Then the lightning bolts. Then the skull. I didn't believe in the hate. But I believed in staying alive. We ran cards, moved contraband, and collected debts. Every day was discipline, routine, and violence. One guy got stabbed with a broken mop handle over a $40 debt. Another got beaten with locks in a sock because he talked to the wrong race. The prison was a furnace. Either you became iron, or you melted. But even inside that hell, I found moments of peace. A book. A letter from my daughter. A sunrise through a bar-covered window. I started to ask myself, who am I when I'm not trying to survive? And for the first time in years, I didn't have an answer. It took years. Years of fights, lockdowns, and silence before I finally looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the man staring back. I wasn't a gangster. Wasn't a father. Wasn't a man. Just a collection of bad choices wearing prison ink. I missed my daughter's birthdays. I missed my mother's funeral. Missed every single moment that actually mattered. And for what? $7,000 at a time. Thrown into clubs and cheap motel rooms. Burned in a flash. No legacy. No honor. Just shadows and stories no one would be proud of. I started writing letters. To my kids. To my ex. To myself. Some I mailed. Most I didn't. But every word I wrote carved a piece of that prison out of me. I signed up for a GED tutoring program. Not because I cared about teaching, but because it gave me purpose. I taught lifers how to read. Helped kids fresh off the street learn how to write a job application. I read every book I could get my hands on. Philosophy, psychology, poetry. Nietzsche, Bukowski, Malcolm X. They all spoke to that part of me that never got a chance to grow. One of the costs told me, "You're not like the rest of them." But I was. I just hid it better. The violence never left. The scars stayed. But so did something else. A hunger to matter. I got out after 10 years with time off. They dropped me off at a bus station with $40 and a duffel bag. No welcome home. No cheering family. Just freedom and fear. Every corner felt like a setup. Every loud bang made me flinch. Every siren sounded like it was meant for me. I tried. Got a job sweeping at a mechanic's shop. Lived in a halfway house with guys who still played prison politics over TV remotes. I kept my head down. Didn't drink. Didn't hustle. But the past. It doesn't let go that easily. Some days I wake up and I'm still inside. Still hearing those steel doors. Still feeling that concrete under my feet. But I fight. Every damn day. Because the only thing I haven't done yet. I have become the man my daughter can be proud of. He planned the perfect heist. He survived the system. But the hardest part was learning to live with himself. If this story hit you like it hit us, don't scroll away. Hit that like button if you believe everyone deserves a second chance. Subscribe for more real stories that go deeper than headlines. And in the comments, tell us. Do you think a man like this can ever fully escape his past? We've got more jaw-dropping true crime stories coming, raw, real, and unfiltered. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Until then, stay sharp, stay human, and remember, sometimes, redemption is the hardest job of all.